Hey guys, Hamsterwheel here with a new video and welcome to the making of a Hamsterwheel video. Today I'm going to show you everything that is involved with what I do to make a video on YouTube. Now I could go with a Primal WoW PvE boss footage fight or the leveling series I'm doing with Dr. Nomad. However, those are admittedly quite easy to make. Today I'm gonna show you how I make the more complicated videos, such as the guides, or what I didn't like about WoW Vanilla. Videos that take a lot more research and a lot more stuff to do. So yeah, I'm gonna take you along and show you everything I need to do and everything I do to make a full-fledged YouTube video. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so the first step in making a video is obviously coming up with an idea. You know, what do I want to make a video about? Now this could be something I wrote down a while ago. This could be a suggestion from a viewer. I mean, I've had that before. I've had someone say, make a hunter gearing guide for Burning Crusade, and I thought it was a really good idea, so I did that. The latest video, as you might have seen, is the Nostarius Vanilla WoW Druid guide. So for now I'm gonna make the mage guide, and yeah, that's basically the first step, just coming up with an idea, figuring out am I able to make that video? Do I have enough knowledge? Am I able to make the video in terms of, if I want to make a video about, let's say, raiding Nax on WoW Vanilla, obviously I can't do that. I don't have a character there. I don't have the time to join a raiding guild, so that's not going to happen. But the mage guide, I have the knowledge, I can do the research, etc, etc, so that is actually doable. So that's the first step, coming up with an idea and then actually figuring out if it's doable for me to make that video. So after I decided to make that video, obviously the first thing I have to do is make the script. Now, when I just started out, I didn't make any scripts, I just did everything right off the cuff, and the more traction, the more subscribers I got, the more time and effort I put in my videos and the more professional I want the audio to be. So if you're doing everything off the cuff, of course you're gonna have a lot of pauses, you're gonna have a lot of times when I say and a lot of messed up sentences that don't really make sense because again, English is not my first language, so if I really want sentences to make sense, I really have to write it down. I can't really do everything off the cuff, I'm not that good basically. So yeah, writing a script, essential, so I'll just pop up Word. I don't know if you guys can see it on the camera, but there you go, there's Word, and I'll just start typing it out. Basically starting with the introduction, so it's like, hey guys, Hamsterwheel here with a new video, blah blah blah, and then figuring out what I want to talk about. Now for the mage guide, just like the druid guide, I'm going to start off with the options you have for leveling, and then I'm going to go on to the option you have for endgame rating and such and such. So without further ado, let's write a script. Alright, and after some time you see that I have quite a few words written down. Now, while I'm writing this script, there's basically a few things I want to talk about in terms of the specs and everything. And what I usually do is figure out myself what makes sense. So, if I'm talking about frost leveling, I always try to go out of my way to say, this is why frost is best for leveling, this is why. I don't just like to say, this is the spec you gotta go with, just take my word for it. I always try to explain why it is the best spec. So basically for frost I have, you have like key talents such as ice block and ice barrier, which are much better in terms of survivability and everything like that. And what I usually do, I use my own knowledge if I can, and luckily for this guide, for the mage guide, I have a lot of knowledge about the mages. What I can do, if I'm not too sure about it, I can hop on the internet and see what other people are saying and why they are saying it, and if they have a similar view like me and they give compelling arguments as to why, then I'm like, alright, that makes sense. This is kind of what the general consensus of what people think, and it's backed up by solid arguments, and that's what I want to put in my guide. So that's how I basically write things down and how I do my research if necessary. So right now I have 7 pages full of stuff. As you can see, there's a few specs right there. So this is the entire script actually. I just completed it. This took like, I don't know, like 2.5 hours to write, including the research I had to do. Luckily, again, for the mates, I didn't have to do a whole lot of research, but still 2.5 hours for writing the script. That's a fair bit of time, and considering you have over 3,000 words written, that's a lot of text I have to record. So yeah, step 2, writing the script, is now done. So we can start with recording the audio. Okay, now for recording, things are quite basic actually. I use a Samsung Meteor microphone, and I have Audacity, which is a free audio program. You can actually do a few things with that, but what I usually just do, I just record stuff, and that's pretty much it. So for me, it's wonderful. It's free, so again, no money wasted there. And yeah, all I have to do now is just open up the script, and I'll start reading the script, and I'll start recording. So let's do that. Hey guys, Hamsterwheel here with a new video, and welcome to another class guide for WoW Vanilla. And this time we're going to talk about the maze, so without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so this is a nice example. I just have my opening sentence, I read it out loud, and I didn't like it. So I'm just going to slightly change the sentence a little bit, and this happens all the time. I write it down, I think it sounds good in my head, and then I actually record and I'm like, no, this doesn't sound that good. So I'm just gonna alter it just a little bit, and then we can continue on recording. And this happens a lot, so there's a lot of like changing the script after I've even written it. So let's get started. Speaking of crits, with 5 points in Ignite, the target will burn for an additional 40% of your spell damage for 4 seconds. Long story short, you crit, and the target gets a really nasty dot that greatly improves your damage. Ice Block is wonderful against melees when your Frost Nova is on cooldown, and it can also be used to remove fear. Damn it, this sentence. Yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of times when I mess up, so when I export everything, when I import everything to Sony Vegas, when I'm gonna edit it down, there's gonna be a lot of edits to be made, and that's just the nature of me recording. I'm not very good at getting all the sentences right right off the bat. So I'm gonna have to, there's some sentences in there that I think are hard to pronounce, so there's a lot of times where I have to like repeat a sentence 2 or 3 times before I get it right in terms of, the way to say it, pronunciation and everything. So the recording process is a little tedious, as there are some sentences where I just can't say it right, and I need about 4 to 5 attempts to say it, like this sentence right here, which is horrible for me to say, but I'll get it right eventually. Ice Block is wonderful against melees when your Frost Nova is on cooldown, and it can also be used to remove effects such as Fear and Blink. There you go. Got it. Okay, so the recording part is done, and I have, I think, a total of like 35 minutes in terms of recording. As you can see right here, a few audio files. I've already saved them to my Mage Guide folder, and as you can see, I already took the specs that I needed, and well, here's the script, and there's some royalty-free music that I can use as background music. So right now what I'm gonna need to do is I'm gonna fire up Sony Vegas, which is the program I use to edit. Template, and I'm gonna import all the audio to that template, and then I'll start editing it out. I could do this in Audacity as well, but I've always did this in Sony Vegas, and I guess old habits die hard, basically. So that is my that's my latest project. That was the Elysium stress test, or not exactly my latest project. That was the Druid guide, but let's see. And we need template 3. Open that, and we just have to wait a little bit, and then I can start importing all the audio and cutting it down, which is gonna take a lot of time. So there we go. And just import that. There we go. So yeah, we have, so basically about 30 to 35 minutes of recording. Okay. There we go. That looks, 35 minutes. So now, of course, we have to listen to all the things I recorded, and then iron out all the mistakes and all the things I all the extra things like me inhaling, the lip smacks and everything. I usually just leave that in there, but like I said, the more my channel is growing, the more effort and time I want to put into videos quality-wise. So yeah, here we go. Let's just start off. I'll show you a quick thing and I'll just do a quick time lapse of me doing everything. Hey guys, Hamsterwheel here with a new video, and welcome to another class guide for WoW Vanilla. And this time we're going to talk about, so you see I paused right there, so I can kind of cut that out. Unless, hey guys, Hamsterwheel. Now I'm starting over right there. Hey guys, Hamsterwheel here. So again, that's another take, so I can remove all of this because that's all garbage, and see how it goes from here. Hey guys, Hamsterwheel here with a new video, and welcome to another class guide for WoW Vanilla. And this time we're going to talk a bit about the mage, so without further ado, let's get started. And that's perfect. Okay, so let's see what we got here. And once again, we're gonna. So I don't know if you can hear it in the recording, but you can hear me inhaling. And so what I usually do now, I used to just keep that in. What I do now is just wait until I start talking, which is right here, and then kind of do a quick little fade in so it's not too obvious. And once again, we're gonna start off with talking about. And there you go. I think that's just much more cleaner. It's very nitpicky, but I get very nitpicky about the audio now these days. So there you go. And once again, we're gonna start off with talking about what options you have for leveling. First up, again, the inhale right here. Cut that out. Just fade it in just a little bit more. First up, we have Arcane. Arcane, unfortunately, doesn't really work that well. The only real offensive Arcane abilities you'll have is Arcane Missiles and Arcane Explosion. And neither of those are on par with the damage output from Fireball or Frostbolt. So I advise you to not put all your... See, that's where I mess up, so... Where do I start again? The only real offensive Arcane abilities you'll have is Arcane, and I mess up again. The only real offensive Arcane abilities, and again. See, there's certain sentences that just take me 5 attempts to get right. The only real offensive Arcane abilities you'll have are Arcane Missiles and Arcane Explosion, and neither of those are on par with the damage output from Fireball or Frostbolt, so I advise you to not put all your talents in the Arcane tree when leveling. There you go. So that's finally, I got it right there. So I'm just going to have to look back. The only real offense. So that's the only real. Yeah, so this, I think, doesn't really work that well. Yeah, so basically this entire, oops, didn't want to do that. There we go, cut it out. And then drag it all the way here. And then kind of fade it out so you don't hear me inhaling and everything. Well, the only real offense. And there you go. So that's basically what I do until I've edited out. So you know, I've done this now. This little part, I still need to edit everything out right here. So I'm just gonna do a little quick time lapse here, and I'll talk to you guys when this is done. So I got my work cut out for me, so here we go. Alright, now, it took me like what, an hour and 15 minutes, something like that. And I've cut everything down. Now let me just zoom in for a little bit so you can see how much work there's involved. Look at all that. And if you can see, the full audio files combined were 35 minutes, and now I'm left with 17. So that's give or take half of the all the stuff I recorded. So there was a lot of things I had to edit out. So yeah, lots of stuff to be done. But the audio part is done in terms of what I say. I mean, I still have to add music and everything. But what's important right now is to start adding video to what I'm saying. So I already got my little intro here, as you can see, from Hamsterwheel. But now I need basically some footage of me doing the introduction, where I'm saying about, talking about doing a mage guide. So what I can actually do is I have you know, mage footage on Primal WoW. I mean, it is Primal WoW, but it doesn't really matter because it's just mage footage. I can use that in the beginning of this video. So let me just go on to Google. Oh, let me just close this. Oh, jeez, no. There we go. There we go. So very simple. I can do go to my channel and then look up any mage footage I have from like Blackwing Lair or something like that. or Primal WoW. I can actually do that. Or Primal WoW Patchwork, there we go. We can use this, and I'll just mute the audio, and I can just do full screen, like so, and then I can basically record this. I mean, I could just import this actual file that I have on my computer, or that I have into Sony Vegas. The problem is many files or many projects I have are on an external hard drive, so this is actually quicker. So just play that, and I'll just use this video footage. And I'll leave this running for like, I don't know, like a minute or so people have something to look at while I'm doing the introduction of the mage. And then after that I can start checking out what else I'm gonna do. Probably like a cool panning shot like I did with the Druid Guide, where you see the text Hamsterwheel's Druid Guide, but then Mage Guide obviously. So we're just gonna keep this going and going. Checking out my DPS. Yeah, it sucks, dude. Get over yourself. And after this is done, we can move on to the next little thing we need to record. Okay, so welcome to Primal. Actually, I just want to make a cool panning shot like I did with the Druid Guide, again on the same spot. Yeah, this looks kind of good. So this is what I can do as well to get some extra footage. Just log on the game and then actually record some footage like so. So I have my cool little panning shot like this. So that looks about right. So we're just gonna keep it rolling for a few seconds, doesn't have to be super long, and then we can use that for the intro. So now that we got some music and we got some footage for the intro shot, I can show you guys a few more things. So here we have the music track. Now if I just play it right now. Hey guys, Hamsterwheel here with a new video. You can see that the music is way too loud, so I'm just gonna have to cut it down to like 31. I want it to be very like soft in the background. Let me just, there we go, that should be good. See what it sounds like right now. Hey guys, Hamsterwheel here with a new video, and welcome to another class guide for WoW Vanilla. And this time we're gonna talk a bit about the mage, so without further ado, let's get started. So what I actually could do is, would be really nice if when the panning shot starts, the beat kicks in. So just right here. And once again, we're gonna start off. So I'm gonna actually take all of that because I want to, during the panning shot I don't want myself to talk, so let's say about 2.5 seconds. We'll see how that looks like. Then we're gonna obviously zoom in because we want it to look cool to like, I don't know, a little bit, yeah, something like that, right? And then we're gonna obviously add a title, Hamsterwheel's Mage Guide. There we go. Hamsterwheel's Mage Guide. I'm gonna see how that looks. Okay, then I use a standard font, just impact, and then a little outline to make it pop a little bit more, and then I can make it a little bit bigger. That's too big. That should be fine. Then we need to obviously move it to the corner. So probably to here. That looks alright actually. And there we go. Right? And then fade it out with the same track. So about let's take 200. And how long is this now? 17. It's about 3 seconds. A little bit shorter. This should be fine. Like if it's longer, I can always edit it out. The thing I'm trying to do here is, 1 second. While the intro, while this cool kind of shot is playing, I want the music to be a little bit louder for those few seconds. So what I do is copy and then paste and then drag it down so we can extra audio track. Right? And then this one's gonna be about -10, I think. Then we'll see about that. We'll have to fine tune it. And this one, right? Wait, I'm gonna do that differently. I'm gonna cut it right here, something like here, and then here. So now it fades out. That one fades in, and the same thing here. It fades back in again, and there we go. And we're gonna see what that sounds like right now. Start it. And once again, we're gonna start off with okay, that's pretty good. Let me just listen to it one more time. Let's get started. Still a little bit too loud for my taste. Let's get started. And once again, we're gonna start off, and this one kicks in a little bit too fast, so just a little bit more delay. And once again, we're gonna start off with get more time. And once again, we're gonna start off with talking about what, and there we go. That's perfect for the intro. So there you go. That is a save. Now I need to start. I need to have another shot for the same way I use it for the Druid guy, where you see a shot when it says leveling options and then end game options, etc., etc. So we're gonna do that now. Okay, so now I got my panning shot, and just like to remind you, I'm not gonna show you every single tiny thing I do. This is just basically the intro where there's a little bit of extra stuff involved. So once again, make it a little bit smaller like this. Now I want this to basically move from the left side to the right side. Also, I need to make sure you don't see that Zeppelin, because that would be quite stupid. Oh, never mind, it's not in there. Right there, I'm going to start it right there, and I want it to basically move a little bit to the left, and I got to make sure that the Y center stays the same. So this is 523.4. Okay, let's see what it looks like. And once again, we're going to start off with talking about what options you have for leveling. That's a little too fast, by the way. So just take it back a notch. I'm not so sure, but maybe this should be fine. Just a slow panning shot. Yeah, and then this was 523, 523.4. Okay, so another thing I'm going to show you guys is I want this to be a little bit more flashy. So what I can do is actually use some color curves. No, not that. There we go. Look at that. And I'm going to use that for this one as well, by the way, to make it look a little bit more slick, if you will. There we go. Giving it a bit of a cinematic feel, if you will. So once again, the fade in, the fade out. Let's see what it looks like. And once again, we're going to start off with talking about what options you have for leveling. So I'm just going to copy this, paste it there, and then change it to leveling options. Let's see what it looks like. And this is probably going to be just straight. I have to zoom in on this a little bit. And then put it there. That's fine. And then extend it all the way. And once again, we're going to start off with talking about what options you have for leveling. First up, we have... That is perfectly fine. So now we can start working on the backdrop I'm using for the mage guy, where I'm starting to explain stuff. So how I do that is actually kind of ghetto. So if you want to laugh, then make sure you do. I'm going to show you guys how I do that. Okay, now for the backdrop, I'm going to use WoW model video. As you can see, I already made the character. What I do is just equip it with some gear. This is going to be for the leveling portion, so of course I want to have some very standard looking leveling gear. You know, stuff like this. Just dress them up a little bit. Doesn't have to be super fancy. And then I had a quick staff or something. There we go, and then shit. There we go. So something like that. Now, for background, I basically have, I just use random pictures off the internet and then edit them a little bit if I want them to be slightly darker or something. I don't want them to be too much in your face. So something like this works just fine for, for the arcane one. Then I have one for frost and for fire. So that's how I do it. So basically I'll just run this for a bit, then import that footage to Sony Vegas, zoom in a little bit, so you can only see the model viewer. And then in there, I will start adding like the text here on the bottom that says arcane or whatever, and then some stuff here. So that's basically the backdrop. That's how I get the backdrop. So I'm just gonna let this run for like, I don't know, a minute or so, and that'll be that. Okay, so here I got some recorded footage from Wild Model Viewer. All I need to do is basically zoom in, and I got a preset for that, if I can find it. There we go. That looks pretty darn good. Let me just zoom in a little bit more. The damage output, especially during level 1 to 20, is much higher than Frost. Okay, so there you go. That's one point why I think Fire is better in terms of like low level. So I can add a point here. And just higher damage output at lower level. Basically like that. And then make sure it's... There we go. And if I want to move it just a little bit, I can. About there. So now we're a little bit further into the editing, and as you can see, I already have the backdrops. I already got Arcane done, which I talked about not really being really that viable. Then we have fire leveling, and at this point, during level 1 to 20 is much higher than Frost. So I have a little note here that says it's higher damage output than at lower level. And then here, Pyroblast. No, it was a little too early, but I was talking about Pyroblast. So what I do with Pyroblast is when I have the actual spell in there. So what I need to do is go to a vanilla database and then have Pyroblast rank 1. Make sure I have the right one, not from a mob or something. So that's the correct one. And then very ghetto-like, I use the snipping tool from Windows and get that. There we go. And I'll save it. And I'll just call it Pyroblast. And then go to my folder. And then import that. So now it's all zoomed in. I don't want that, so I'm going to have to use another... Let's see if I have a nice... There we go. That's a nice preset. And then I use that to make it pop up when I... Let's see. See if the timing's right. Especially during level 1 to 20 is much higher than Frost. And at level 20, Fire Mages can get Pyroblast. A little too late. It's right there where I say Pyroblast, so here we go. Let's see if that works. Much higher than Frost. And at level 20, Fire Mages can get Pyroblast. An immense fiery boulder that takes 6 seconds. Okay, so there you go. So that's how I add the spells in there. I just go to like a vanilla database, use snipping tool, and import into Sony Vegas, and that's how I get it. So it's a little ghetto, but hey, it works. Alright, now that we're much further down the line, I'm going to show you guys what I got so far. As you can see, it's getting a little late. It's already 4 p.m. in the afternoon. And I am about, I don't know, well, taking everything into consideration, I think I'm at like 2/3 of the project. As you can see, I've just been basically doing the thing I've been doing all day, which is basically just adding spells that I'm talking about, you know, just going to Wowhead or the vanilla database, using the snipping tool, adding them in Sony Vegas, and then explaining a few points like it's man expensive, like right here, lack survivability, blah blah blah. And then the end game options that I have, all I did extra for that is add the talent build, and then instead of and still have the spells on top. So I'm talking about arcane concentration. I want that to be visible, so it's easier for people to listen to and to look at. And then after the talent build, I will give a quick summary of the things that is great about Fire and the things that is not so great about Fire. So I've been doing that for, I don't know, a few hours now, and I'm starting to get somewhere. I mean, everything in PvE is done, and yeah, that's where I'm at right now. So as you see, the editing I'm doing is not really that complicated. It's just, it's pretty basic editing, basically what you can do with Sony Vegas. I mean, you can do so much more things in that program. It's just very time consuming, as you might have seen. I've been going at this project since like 11 in the morning. It is now 4 p.m. in the afternoon, so that's over 5 hours invested. And I'm on, like I said, I'm on 2/3 of the project, so I still got a ways to go. Who knows, I might be able to finish it today. I mean, it's already getting dark, but we'll see. I'm just gonna keep on editing and see how far I get before I have to, or if I have to make dinner, basically. So I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna keep on working. we go. We are finally done. It's now 5:30, so that was a fair bit of work making that mage guide, but I'm very happy how it turned out. So the last step for me is to watch the entire thing before I start rendering to make sure I didn't mess up and didn't forget anything. So I'm gonna grab a cup of coffee and then watch the whole thing, and then we can start rendering. Video on Hamsterwheel, and have a good one. Well, there you have it. Wait, I'm gonna have to hunch over to get the screen. There you have it. I just watched the video. I discovered a few mistakes. I corrected them, and everything seems fine now. So I'm very happy with the results. And all there's left to do is, well, two things actually. Just render the video, then upload it to YouTube, and I'll be done with the video. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna do. All I have to do now is just go to File, Render As, and let my computer do the rest. Okay, the uploading and the processing is done, so there's only a few things left. First of all, I need to upload custom thumbnail I've been making for my video. Let me see, it should be under M of, there we go, Mage Guide. And then obviously we need to change the title. Darius Mage Guide. Alright, now as you can see, I have my title, I have my description with all the links, and I have my tags and the custom thumbnail as I showed earlier. So there's only one thing left to do, and that's publish the video. And there we go. We are officially done. And there you have it, folks. That was the making of a hamster wheel video. I showed you everything that was involved with making a video, putting it on YouTube, etc., etc. So I hope you enjoyed this little behind the scenes video, I guess. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the new video I made, the Mage Guide. I have more guides, at least I plan to have more guides up in the near future, as well as some other stuff. But until then, I want to thank you for watching this video. I'm Hamsterwheel, and have a good one.